This guy's giving like a multiple account of like, here's what's going on in the Muslim world, here's what's going on in the Christian world.
Yeah.
He calls it the Latin world the whole time. But so apparently the fucking French, man, are apparently at the center of this.
The frogs were over there.
Frogs are big time, bro. Because he said
Guy de Lucien or whatever in there.
Yeah, the one there was was that the guy you're saying?
That was in the movie. Kingdom of Heaven. You get to the Knights Templar?
Not yet. This is they tease you with the Lionheart. They hit you with a little bit of Lionheart, which I'm like, all right, I'm ready for that. But they so they go in, and there's just these dukes. Who dat?
I don't know.
All right, there's these. They're explaining like how there was just these knights who were like they're not like the king, but there's just these disparate bands of just like military royalty.
Yeah.
That just rolled around. What you were saying earlier on basically ponies.
Yeah.
And they were just They would just like sit around and
just
like
to reiterate, the horses weren't big.
Tiny horses.
They rode ponies.
Ponies, dude, armored ponies.
Yeah.
And like if you were like, there would just be these knights kicking around on like land, like with their vassals and shit, and they'd get hired every now and again to just like charge some dude on a pony.
Yeah.
Because that was like if you were trying to fight, a dude would just come run you over with a pony, and then he'd be like, all right, dude, fucking, I'll pay the king or whatever what I owe him. And they're like, you better, I'll fucking kill you.
Have you seen Kingdom of Heaven?
No.
Yo, you're gonna love it.
I can't wait.
It's fucking tight.
Do they keep it pony?
Ridley Scott, dude.
Does he keep it fucking?
Nah, he doesn't keep it 100 on the ponies.
Come on, man. Nobody does. Nobody does.
Yeah, you can't do the Braveheart speech on a pony.
Why, dude?
You can't.
Dude, it's such an important detail of the time.
It's very important.
And they were crazy expensive. To have a pony was like unheard of. Like no one else could afford a pony. So you're a knight. You're on your pony, and you had 4 servants.
Although the Arabs may have had stallions. They may have had.
I think they're on at least in the beginning. I think they're still on. They're on ponies as well. So it's pony on pony attack.
There's nothing you can do.
But so they have these guys in the Christian world. It's just the knights kicking around, doing their thing. And there's this one guy from France who was just he's a Frank. This is like 1000. So I don't think France was barely even started yet. It was just the Franks people. But he. His name was like Smooth Folk or something. I forget the guy's name, but he was a brutal fucking duke and warlord, and he was just fucking people up. And then like towards the end of his life, he was like he got really into Catholicism or Christianity, Roman Catholic Church. So he was like back then, in order to like make up for your murderous deeds, they would go on these like epic pilgrimages to like Jerusalem. They're saying that's a huge part of how it started. So Pope Gregory started off as basically you had these like rich elite dudes going into the Holy Land. This guy's like a warlord, and he's like, why the fuck are Muslims in charge of this? This fucking sucks. Yeah. And they were saying they were getting unfairly taxed because they said it's unclear who really started the aggression, because the Christian account is like Pope Urban gave this huge speech in France being like, dude, they want to tax you so bad that like they're worried people are swallowing gold. So if they suspect you of smuggling gold by swallowing it, they'll cut you open and open up your insides to fucking look into what nature has kept hidden, dude. So that's the Christians were coming through like, yo, they're slaughtering Christians. There was one lord who was going over on these pilgrimages who apparently had his eye pulled out. Yeah. They said it was like an apocryphal tale, but he carried his eye back to be like, yo, fuck Muslims, dude. Look what they did to my eye. Yeah. So all these dudes were getting. So they had these like.
He was like, "This used to be in my fucking head."
But a fucking Muslim
ripped out my fucking eye
because he refused to pay taxes.
Get your swords, dude. We're going back.
They'd be like, "We're going on holy." These guys were like never taking shit ever in their life. Yeah. They were just in charge of it, basically everything and everyone they knew. They're like, all right, time for pilgrimage, and they'd go through the towns. I'm like, and they'd be like, "What the fuck are you?" And they'd pull a sword to them. They'd be like, "Give me half your shit." And they'd be like, "What the fuck?" Yeah. So these dudes were just running into buzzsaws. So they'd come back and be like, "Yo, fuck those guys."
Dude, does it get into the fact that Muhammad never set foot in Jerusalem? Ever?
I thought they said that's where he ascended from.
Yeah, they yap about it. They made that up.
But he never did.
They just were like, "No, this is ours. This is where Muhammad came." They're like, "Dude, Muhammad was never here." They're like, "Yeah,
really?
This is ours. Jerusalem's ours." It's like,
they didn't.
Bro,
so they didn't get into that.
The Dome of the Rock. Look into it.
Really?
Yeah, they fibbed, dude. They said he teleported to Jerusalem and then he ascended. It's like, dude, you guys are lying. You're cheating to get Jerusalem. It's obviously Catholics.
I would agree. Do is give it up. The least they can do is give it up.
The Muslims have no say.
Dude.
Other than it is in the Arab world.
Dude,
other than it is on their land.
True.
But.
I don't but dude, they kind of Sprite remixed of religion.
They did.
And I know I was with Christianity.
We already had Coke.
We had Coke.
Coca-Cola. They were like, no, Coke Zero. We were like, dude, you guys need to shut the fuck up.
Dude, they really did mishmash deal, and
I could be completely wrong, but I thought Islam came out of Muhammad being like, I think he was a general, but it was kind of like because he lived in a heavy trade area, and he kind of came up with like codes of how to, like, it was good. It was like a moral way to make sure everything was cool with trading and how to operate and all that shit. I forget.
He went by the way of the sword towards the end.
Yeah, he did.
I heard a similar thing where, like, if you read the beginning of it, it's like, man, this is great. What beautiful verses. And then he apparently really dialed it up of like, yo, by the way.
Well, he was a man.
He was a man. He was a man.
He was a man. That's the thing. They were, He was
just a dude who then teleported.
He could fall to it.
Then he teleported.
He did teleport and ride up on a chariot or some shit.
Yeah. So that did happen.
We worship a god, dude.
That's what I'm saying.
Jesus was not. I mean, he was a man, of course, but he was the Holy Trinity.
There's a heresy stating that Jesus was a man. Obviously, got kicked out of the Catholic Church. One of the heresies, dude. There's a ton of heresies. One of them was that Jesus was just a dude who got just like taken over by the Spirit of God, and then as soon as he died on the cross, it just went up, and that was that. And the Pope was like, "Fucking." There was a bunch of dudes like, "No fucking way, dude. Yeah, bullshit." Get him out of here.
Set him on fire.
Get him the fuck out of here.
Do something bad to him.
Just dress like maniacs.
Just like a moron.
Bull fucking shit, dude. That didn't happen. Yeah. Get the fuck out of here.
Think of the worst thing ever and do it to him. Get him out of here. Rip his fucking tongue out.
Yeah, they just were like, exactly. It came up with like a Muslim code. Here's what we're going to do. And then like, yo, and in terms of like, yeah, dude, actually like Abraham was kind of sick. Jesus was kind of sick. That was like, but then it became like, genuinely like a militant. Yeah, and this is what they're arguing. Like, the military shit was built into Muslim theology. That was like an easy. There was no big quarrels to get into that. Yeah. Although he was arguing like they really weren't that interested because they had already like basically the Muslim Empire had just been established and smashed.
Yeah, it was
dominating. But then it fell apart. The infighting. The Sunnis and Shiites go back that far.
Yeah, I know.
I didn't know that.
They disagree on it was on Muhammad's successor.
Exactly, dude. Yeah. On Fatima, they were like, I'm related to Fatima, his wife or niece or whatever. I'm related to all the
still going,
caliphs.
The Sunnis and Shiites are still bickering.
That was based on who was related to fucking Muhammad, which is crazy. Yeah. I had no idea that's what that was.
Oh, really?
No clue.
Yeah.
It went back that far.
Yeah.
They're like, fuck you, dude.
Iran and Saudi Arabia are still tearing the world apart because of that. Because they're like, dude, that was his uncle. It's like,
you fool.
You fucking fool.
Well, the funny part was, this is what I didn't realize.
And it's definitely Saudi Arabia and Iran tearing the world apart, not us.
Man, that's all it would take. Them to be like, bro, we've all been dead. That's what I'm reading the Crusades book, and he's like, well, who really was the? It's like, dude, everyone was just being massive dickheads back then.
Yeah,
you had massive dickheads at the top of society clashing with each other, then recruiting the dumbasses of society to stab each other.
So this is all the Crusades, or just the first?
All of them. But he went the People's Crusade. He went into that.
Wait till you get to the end,
bro. I can't. I'm excited.
The like fucking 6th Crusade is like they don't even go to the Middle East. They go to Constantinople and just sack a Christian city.
Really?
Yeah, they're like, fuck this.
They talk about the People's Crusade, so just to keep the chronological timeline, they get like a couple dukes going up, and then it's going through the papacy. Like the Muslims are already, they're crushing it. They're set for fucking holy war. It's nothing to get them in a holy war. It's like, yeah, dude, we know it's in our book. Like we'll turn it on if we have to. The popes were apparently obscure and didn't have like authority over all of Christianity. Like the Pope had its own struggle to like be the fucking spiritual general of all the Christians or all the Catholics. So there was a thing saying the Pope really stoked the flames of the Crusades, then that elevated the papacy to like a power position because people were like kind of like, yo, who the fuck? This guy was like, I'm your boss, and they were like, shut the fuck up.
Who?
Fuck you.
Like there's a guy in Italy.
Yeah, dude, and that guy was from France. Pope Urban was from a monastery in France, and he like fucking somehow. Like religion lorded like Game of Thrones, which is such the darkest and most evil shit in the world. But Pope Gregory was like, yo, we should probably, it's kind of cool if we fuck people up in God's name. And the people were like, what the fuck, dude? Then he died, and Pope Urban was like, yo, that guy was crazy. But for real, guys, these Muslims are out of control. Yeah. And if you want to get all your sins wiped away, just go to pilgrimage and bring swords. Like, if you fuck some guy up and you die, that's cool. You're allowed to do, like, dude, it's mega resolving all your sins if you go there and just chop a dude up. But he was like, but only sins you confess. So there's all these things. But then you get like street guys who would like, it was Fuck, what was this guy's name? Something the Hermit. It was like this dude was basically Smeagol. He only ate fish and drank wine, and he was revolted. His appearance was revolting.
Probably stunk like shit.
Dude, he was a frog as well. Northeastern France. I'm blanking.
Frogs are nasty.
He was the guy apparently who actually sent 15,000 people to just get slaughtered in the First Crusade. Peter the Hermit.
Nice. And 15,000 people, he brought his bros and they all got rocked.
He survived. He came back like, oh, fuck.
Yeah.
But he would come back.
Was it the Mamelukes? Who fucked them up?
Yeah, I think so. I think the Turgeluk. What were the Turks?
Yeah.
Some shit. Turgelukes or some shit.
Yeah. They were nasty.
They got taken into the Sunni, I think, fold. The Shiites, I think, were in the south towards North Africa. And I think the Sunnis migrated closer to the west, which I think they then formed like those countries that ended up traditionally trading more with the west, and the Shiites are like, fuck those guys.
Nice.
If I'm not mistaken. But yeah, so he brought the bros over, and it was like just you've talked about this before. They both went over. The First Crusade was just dudes wandering and getting fucked up.
Yeah.
Unanimously, just.
I'm excited for you
different.
Because I vaguely remember what happens, but there's like the Children's Crusade. There's like.
Yeah, they brought their kids too. Apparently,
it's nuts.
It was 15,000 with like 8,000 soldiers and like 10,000 women and something a ton of women and children.
Yeah.
They just wandered down and got destroyed.
The Arabs must be like, what? Who the fuck are these guys?
I know.
What is being told to them?
I know.
Why are they walking here?
Well, that was the question, because they were like, the Pope Urban was like, we're under threat. Like, this is a real threat.
Yeah.
And I think the Moors were coming up and they were clashing, but there was no like cohesive threat of Islam, because Islam was fractionated.
Yeah.
At the time. But the thing is like, yeah, but like these dudes didn't fucking know this.
No,
they're just hearing word of mouth shit, and they're like,
they're getting Fox News.
Yes,
they're like, they hate our freedom. Dude.
Pope Urban literally was like, these guys are doing unthinkable things to children.
Yeah.
These guys are monsters. They hit them with like World War II propaganda.
Yeah, they hate our freedom.
Still works. They're doing it right now.
Yeah,
on the news.
Yeah,
Russia's fucked up, dude.
Russia tortured guys.
Yo, Russia's built different. They're hitting us with like, yo, Russia's fucked up, dude. Unspeakable atrocities. Still works, dude. 1,000 years later.
Yeah.
It's like, wait, they're doing what to who? Those guys are evil. We're good. Let's go get them.
Yeah.
So that the authors
the Moors were sneaking up, dude.
They were creeping. He gave credence to
España, dude. They got.
Yep. First I thought he was going to be like, yo, fuck the Christians. The Muslims are all good. But he's he's basically being like, there's a lot of different accounts, and there are firsthand Muslim accounts of like, yeah, they were fucking up Christian.
I'm sure they were.
Dudes coming through there.
I mean, it had to be.
Yeah, dude. Like,
they still hold it down like that. They still tax. Yeah. There's under, ISIS and shit. They were like, you're either getting killed or you're paying like ridiculous taxes.
That's what it was.
If you're not a Muslim.
So the first invasion, I'm only up to I didn't only got to the start of the second one. First invasion, wildly unsuccessful. Although it did, people started being like, yo, that's kind of sick, the Crusade.
Yeah.
So then they had like the nobility. None of the kings got involved during the second one, but all of the nobility. A lot of them were like, they were just like, look, they're opportunistic. These dudes would sell all of their shit.
Yeah.
They would sell all of their belongings and be like, let's fucking go. And go crusade. And then there was just like a bunch of the French nobility. And
dude, you gotta watch Kingdom of Heaven.
I can't wait, dude.
It's fucking sick.
Is that what it's about?
Yeah.
Fuck. I can't wait.
Orlando Bloom, dude? Come on.
What?
Yeah.
But yeah, that's where I'm at right now in the book. The dudes are like, now like the real deals are going down there to be like, all right, the guys with like actual military experience fighting the Muslims are like, we're going down there. And then they talk about all the infighting going on. And dude, the Muslims killed it and then all started grabbing for power, which it happens to everything.
Yeah, of course.
But yeah, that's when the Sunnis and Shiites started beefing. It's pretty sick, man. To know more. Every time I learn about more about the Sunnis and Shiites, I'm like, yes.
Yeah, I always forget too.
Yes. I had no idea. I went back. The beef is that far back.
Yeah.
And then there was one.
But it's not. See, back then it wasn't that far back. Yeah. This is 1099 or something was the first crusade.
Yeah.
Muhammad was what, 500?
Oh no, for sure. I'm talking about now.
Oh yeah,
it's like now to then. It's like, god damn, these guys have been fighting for fucking ever. But yeah, there was one of the caliphs. He was called the Mad Khalif. He was like, dude, he apparently was crushing it, like just like sacking tons of cities, and he like got so good at that.
Yeah.
He just all of a sudden declared himself a god, and then started attacking his own people. I was like, that must have been the funniest shit in the world. It's like, what, dude? Stop!
God
no,
damn it! He thinks he's a god.
Completely turned on his whole fucking squad. Yeah. It was like, dude, I'm God. I'm gonna fuck literally just everyone up now, and everyone. They probably had to like put him down. But he probably led a battle into his town.
Anytime you do that, though, and you're like, I'm God, it ends. You're going to be naked in a town square, getting, like, drugged by people.
Well, you know they say lended to the militarization of Christianity?
What is it?
Was taking in the pagan hordes. So they were converting all these pagan guys, and they were, like, back then, they were highly militarized people. And a lot of these, like, Christian lords were like, yeah, I could kind of use a little bit of that for my
we need these fucking forest retards.
Yeah, you can kill people, literally.
Yeah,
you guys can still kill people. That's actually kind of sick.
Yeah, we like you guys. We're gonna put you on a boat, and we're gonna ship you down there.
Yeah,
and then you guys go nuts.
So that was they had to, like, because they were like, wait, I can't attack it. That's so fucking gay. And they're like, no, you can attack. I mean, if you have, like, a good reason,
you're still allowed to attack people,
fuck people up. Like, we're not, like, we're not against having fun or whatever. Like, we're just doing stuff.
If you lived in the woods and your whole thing was like, dude, we get to attack people.
Yeah.
And then some Christians came and were like, stop. You'd be like, dude, I can't stop.
A lot of them they're like, that fucking rule. Like, wait.
Attacking people was cool.
Apparently these dudes are pretty wooed over by Jesus stuff. They'd be like, yeah, that's better than ours. They were like, kind of like, man, that rules.
Yeah, Jesus, the message of Christ usually works.
They're like, wait, somebody loves me?
They're like, yeah, we can just be nice to each other. And stop all this attacking.
Yeah.
Like that had to be tough, though, because there were definitely societies that based their entire identity around attack.
The Turks, bro. The
Yeah.
Turks at first. Dude, the Turks, their big thing was they had two strategies.
Turks have been pretty nasty throughout history.
Dude, total encirclement. They would just totally encircle whoever they were fighting. That was their one military formation. Encircle, shoot bows and arrows, and then just fuck them up. Or they were famous for fake retreats. They would fake retreat, let them break formation, then
you like that swarm, that circle with the arrows?
Yeah, dude.
It's pretty tight.
Dude, they could shoot those arrows 300 yards back then.
Really?
Yeah.
That's exciting.
So could the English. Or the Christians.
Longbowmen.
Longbowmen, 300 fucking yards.
Get the British longbowmen out.
300 yards, dude.
Dude, if you only gamed like I did, you'd know all these things. If you play with the Turks in medieval Total War, you can hit the circle. That's a move you can do.
That was their two moves.
Yeah. If you watched Kingdom of Heaven, you'll see them hit the circle.
Really?
You'll go, God.
So they're all they were ponies, circles. They were all speed.
Yeah.
So they had a West Coast fucking offense.
It was a West Coast offense.
Ponies, speed.
And the dumbass Crusaders thought they could wear all their bullshit armor, make it in the desert.
They talk about that too.
Bro, it's not going to work.
They talk about how heavy. They said their broadsword was more of a bludgeoning instrument than like an actual thing to cut people up with. They had a heavy piece of steel that was like kind of like a butter knife that they'd be like, whack!
Fucking smack it, dude.
Oh fuck.
Yeah. What about Barbarossa? When was Barbarossa? And who was it? One dude just in the desert just ran straight into the water. They like got to an oasis and he got in the water and drowned.
What?
They were wearing armor.
Yeah, that sucks. I was hearing about it was. And that chainmail didn't. If something was like really sharp, it would just cut them. It would fuck them up. Like only if someone like went by and like nicked them, it would help them from that. But if they got like just hit with a fucking sharp sword, it went right through it.
Oh man, now I just want to watch Kingdom of Heaven.
Yeah, we should. Yeah, it's not a bad preparation. But yeah, dude, the book so far has been really, really good. That's my favorite time period, dude.
Yeah.
Like 11, 12, 13, 14.
That's when it gets gay for me. Once you get into like the Renaissance and shit.
Well, for sure. But know what's crazy though is like, holy fuck, you're telling me between 1400 and 1700, the amount of advancement was blinding.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Between 14 and 1700 was insane.
Yeah, and then think about now.
Dude, that's what
now is ridiculous.
That's what I got tripped up on. I was like, oh my god, that's the exponential curve.
Yeah.
Like 1400s, 1700s, 21, whatever fucking year it is. I always embarrassingly forget. I've been on 2023 forever. I'm like, I signed everything 2023 and like, bro, it's 2022. Can you fix it?
Yeah, I'm there too. I get confused by that. What is it, Sean?
They said it was Barbarossa who drowned, and
it was Barbarossa.
He had such a long journey, and then he ended up just drowning.
He wanted a drink, and he got in the water, and he fucking drowned like a dumbass, dude.
He's like my dog Jack. My dog Jackson will drown if you put him in water.
1190.
He'll go into the water and start to drown. He has to be safe.
It was 1190. Was it the Fourth Crusade? What the hell was that? What was he doing down there?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I wish I read more. The book's long as fuck, dude.
Yeah, I got hit with guns.
23 hours
germs,
left.
and steel last night.
Did you?
Yeah, I was talking about the Aborigines.
What about them?
They were in the Stone Age.
Were they really?
Yeah, they were stuck in the Stone Age.
Jesus Christ!
When they were found, they were in the Stone Age.
That stinks, man.
Yeah,
especially when you're trying to preserve your land and stuff. Being in the Stone Age, it's. I mean, you've played enough. Like what's that one game?
Total War.
Total War. It's like if I'm in Stone